So, you're starting a business in Portland, Oregon. First off, massive congratulations. Launching a new venture is incredibly exciting. But before you can officially open your doors or even launch your website, we really need to navigate the local bureaucracy to make sure your business is fully compliant. And yeah, I know, dealing with licenses and permits isn't exactly the most glamorous part of being an entrepreneur, but this explainer is absolutely crucial because this step is what sets you up for long-term success and, honestly, just peace of mind right from the start. We're going to map out this entire journey together, tailored specifically for new business owners so you know exactly what to expect.
Now, why is getting this right so incredibly important? Well, think about this number for a second. $500. That is the potential fine you could be facing per day for operating without proper licensing in Oregon. Literally per day. The stakes here are genuinely high. Skipping your registrations or just doing them incorrectly doesn't just cause headaches, it can drain your startup capital in the blink of an eye. Compliance isn't just a suggestion, it's basically the financial shield that protects all your hard work.
But don't worry about the complex bureaucracy. We're untangling the whole thing by breaking this journey down into 6 highly manageable steps. 1. Researching requirements. 2. The application process. 3. Costs and fees. 4. Timelines. 5. Avoiding common pitfalls. And 6. Maintaining compliance.
Let's kick things off with Section 1, Researching your business requirements.
Okay, so the very first hurdle that trips up a lot of new entrepreneurs is understanding that business registration actually happens at multiple levels of government. It's kind of like a two-step dance. On one side, you have the state of Oregon. This is where you formally create your legal entity, like your LLC or your corporation, through the Secretary of State. But, and this is key, forming your business at the state level does absolutely not mean you're licensed to operate in your specific city. On the local side, you have to deal with the city of Portland and Multnomah County. So you really need to compartmentalize these two things. State formation first, local licensing second.
And here is where we need to demystify a major point of confusion. We need to understand what a Portland business license actually is, because the name is honestly a bit deceptive. The Portland business license tax is not just some standard flat-rate regulatory permit fee like you might find in other cities. It's actually a local net income tax on your business activity. It's a whole revenue-generating system that funds the city's general fund. You know, paying for police, fire, parks, all of that. So when you're getting a business license in Portland, you are fundamentally registering for a local tax account.
Moving right along to Section 2, the Portland application process.
Now that we know we're essentially registering for a tax account, how do we actually do it? Well, the application pipeline is surprisingly streamlined if you have your materials ready. Step 1. Get your federal employer identification number, your EIN, and your state registry info sorted out first. You need those in hand. Step 2. Head over to the Portland Revenue Online portal at pro.portland.gov. And Step 3. Complete the combined business tax registration. It's just a single form that registers you for both the city of Portland and Multnomah County at the exact same time. Super easy.
But you might be wondering, how do you know for sure if you even need to register? Obviously, if you have a physical storefront or a home office in Portland, you are absolutely required to register. But here's what catches so many people off guard. Having any employees working inside Portland limits, even if they're just working remotely from their own living room couches, that triggers the requirement. Plus, if you have zero physical presence, but you generate $50,000 or more in gross receipts from Portland customers, you still have to register. Economic presence counts just as much as physical presence.
Let's talk numbers in Section 3, Navigating Costs and Fees.
Preparation is the absolute key to surviving your first year, which means accurately planning your budget for these civic obligations. Remember, this is a net income tax. The City of Portland takes 2.6% of your net income, with a minimum fee of $100. Multnomah County takes 2.0%, also with a minimum fee of $100. And depending on how much revenue you bring in, you might also be subject to the Metro Supportive Housing Services tax, which is 1.0%. And heads up, even if your business operates at a loss your very first year, you are still generally on the hook to pay those minimum fees.
And while you're budgeting for those local Portland taxes, please don't forget your upfront state-level costs. Forming an LLC or a corporation in Oregon is going to run you $100 with the Secretary of State. If you're a sole proprietor and you're just operating under a doing business as name, registering that assumed business name is $50. You got to pay these state fees before you even try to tackle the Portland-specific taxes.
All right, Section 4, Timelines and Application Follow-up.
A massive part of starting a business without losing your mind is setting realistic expectations. So how long is all this going to take?
Well, it's really a tale of two extremes. That online tax registration we just talked about, blazing fast. It generally takes just 1 to 3 days to process. However, if your business requires physical space modifications, well, the building permits are a whole different story. A simple residential permit, like for a minor home remodel, takes 4 to 8 weeks. And if you're doing a commercial tenant improvement or a brand new build, the initial plan review takes 8 to 16 weeks. And honestly, that is just the initial review.
So how do you manage that crazy waiting game? For building permits, you'll want to use the Portland DevHub portal or portlandmaps.com to track your status. And here is a very crucial piece of insider advice. Expect 2 to 3 correction cycles for commercial permits. Each of those cycles can add an additional 3 to 6 weeks to your timeline. If you're opening a physical location, you literally must bake these delays into your launch schedule so you aren't stuck paying rent on a totally empty building for months on end.
Let's steer clear of trouble in Section 5, avoiding common licensing pitfalls. Beyond the basic tax registration, a lot of niches require highly specialized permits. Let's look at a heavily regulated example. In the cannabis industry, an extract processor must actually have a final certificate of occupancy, meaning all your building and trade permits are completely signed off before they can even obtain their local Civic Life business license. It's like a giant puzzle requiring intense, sequential coordination between the building department and the licensing bureau. If you don't know the exact sequence for your specific industry, you're going to hit a brick wall. But listen, you don't have to be in a highly regulated industry to make a rookie mistake. Working from home is a very common area where beginners accidentally violate the Portland City Code. The city basically divides home businesses into 2 types. A Type A home occupation means absolutely no customers come to your house and no non-resident employees work there. That requires 0 fees and no special permit. But if you have even 1 employee come to your house, or up to 15 customers a day, say you're running a home hair salon or you're tutoring, you're automatically a Type B. That requires a $75 permit, neighborhood notification, and a formal application process. And here are a few other highly specific local hurdles that might totally catch you off guard. Did you know that if a garage sale exceeds 72 consecutive hours, it's no longer exempt from business regulations? Crazy, right? Or if you acquire or sell over 50 used items in a single year, you are legally required to get a second-hand dealer permit. Plus, completely ignoring the broader metro jurisdiction rules especially, regarding those newer housing services taxes we mentioned, can easily result in unexpected audits. Finally, we have Section 6, maintaining your business compliance. Getting that license in your hand is a massive milestone for sure. But keeping your newly established business in good legal standing, that's an ongoing commitment. To avoid future fines and keep everything running smoothly, you've got to mark a few repeating tasks on your calendar. You must file your local business tax returns annually, usually right around the same time as your federal and state taxes. Certain state registrations, like an assumed business name, require biennial renewals, meaning every 2 years. Same goes for that Type B home occupation permit we just talked about. And if you have a commercial space, expect routine, ongoing inspections from the fire marshal. Basically, compliance is not a one-and-done event, it's a habit.
Well, we have covered a ton of ground in this explainer, from state entity formation all the way through local tax rates and specialized permits. But every single business is unique, so what is your biggest remaining hurdle in starting your Portland business? Drop your thoughts or your questions in the comments below, and let's keep this conversation going.
And as we officially wrap things up, please keep this in mind. This explainer provides a general overview. Always consult the local business bureau, the Portland Revenue Division, or your own legal counsel to ensure you meet the requirements for your very specific situation. But remember, navigating all this civic bureaucracy isn't just about avoiding fines. It's literally the very first step in building the foundation of your legacy here in Portland. So what kind of impact is your business going to make on the city? I can't wait to see it. Thanks so much for joining me, and best of luck out there.